This.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Game junkie, Gerard Campbell.
A lie is a lie. Just because they write it down and call it history doesn't make it the truth. We live in a world where seeing is not believing. Where only a few know what really happened.
Ready when you are.
A lie is just a lie, man. It is Call of Duty Black Ops. That is the game we are looking at. Out comes the guitars, because you can't have fighting and shooting without some guitars in there as well. Gerard Campbell has been looking at this massive title. It is huge. It's breaking all kinds of records that Gerard will be able to tell us about. And he joins us. G'day, Gerard.
Good morning.
Did the guns and fighting Taliban or whatever you were fighting, did it make you want to bring out the guitars?
Oh, bring out the guitars and bring out the Rolling Stones and put on the camo and yeah, as you said before, man, it's broken records everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
I was reading this morning that apparently it sold in the UK it sold something like 2 million units, and it's already made something like £81 million. So I mean, I don't know what that is in Kiwi, but
that's a billion trillion Kiwi dollars.
A billion trillion. It is. It's a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with a slice of that.
Just a tiny wedge.
And I think to be quite honest, it probably was always going to make a lot of money anyway.
Mm.
You know, because the Call of Duty series has got such a huge following, and I think people were just going to buy this regardless. You know, whether it sucked or not.
Yeah.
Basically.
So really the success so far of this game has Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 to really thank, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, the Call of Duty series has been going for a while, but I think for me my favourite Call of Duty is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first modern age one, and then Modern Warfare 2 was last year. But yeah, you know, the hype train has just rolled on, and I think because you know everybody knows the history behind Black Ops and that Treyarch who made this one. They used to be, you know, what people call the second tier Call of Duty team. You know, they would do sort of every second release Call of Duty. You know, whereas Infinity Ward would do the big ones. So I think with Black Ops, Treyarch wanted to, you know, make a statement. People saying that, hey, hold on, we can make big, loud, brash games. You know, just as well as the other boys. And you know, it's got all the trademarks that a war game needs. You know, it's got lots of explosions, and it's a fairly frantic, you know, single player campaign. You know, it's fairly on the move, on the go. You know, and it starts in Cuba in 1961 with the Bay of Pigs invasion. You know, the ill-fated attempt to assassinate Fidel Castro, and then it's sort of the rest of the campaign sort of based in and around the Vietnam War, you know, that sort of Cold War period. And, you know, like all the past Call of Duty games, you're flinging all over the place. You know, you're going to, one minute you'll be in a Russian prison, and the next you'll be, you know, in Vietnam, and then you'll be back again to Siberia, and then you'll be back to Vietnam.
Does that make sense? Does that storyline make sense to you?
It can be very disjointed at times, you know, because if you're playing a game that at least if it had one main story thread going through, at least you've got that continuity, but it can be very disjointed at times because you're flicking backwards and forwards between time zones. And you know, the game opens with the key character you play as a Black Ops operative called Alex Mason, who you know, the game starts with him seemingly in an interrogation chair, or you know, or maybe he's getting a debriefing from his military history. I don't know. But, you know, and the game's played through as a series of flashbacks, you know. This bodiless voice wanting to know what happened and how this... And it involves, you know, Russian plans to, you know, drop this chemical called Nova 6 on the the Western world and create all sorts of havoc. So I mean, it's the story. I mean, I thought the single player was competent, but the story can get a bit disjointed at times because you're flinging backwards and forwards to these time zones.
You were unimpressed with the Medal of Honor, which also came out recently, and the single player campaign on that. How does this compare?
I think that the single player here is better than the Medal of Honor one. I think for the fact that there was a lot more going on. It seemed to be a lot more animated. There was a lot more action going on.
But the actual, what about the actual gameplay itself? I mean, is it any different, or quite the same, or is the difference for you the storyline and some of the environmental elements to it?
Yeah, well, I think it's that. I think it's environmental elements because I think if you break all these war-based shooters down to their core, you're essentially got the same thing. You've essentially got kill wave after wave of bad guys, complete your objectives. Plant a bomb here, blow this up, take out this guy. So I mean, essentially they've all got that same sort of basic premise. But I think that the single-player campaign, at least for Black Ops, it did impress me more, I think, because it just seemed to be a bit more immersive. It seemed to, Treyarch have done a really good job in creating atmosphere. Especially in the Vietnam settings. There's some, you do at times think that you're wandering through, the Vietnamese, tunnels under the ground and that sort of thing. I think with all first-person shooters like this, although they say there is some based on historical accuracy, I think you have to put a sense of disbelief. You've got to sort of put reality on hold for certain things. I mean, there was a couple of weapons in the game that I'm not sure really whether they used these in Vietnam. I'm not sure whether they used crossbows in Vietnam that fired explosive bolts or rocket propelled camera controlled missiles that you fire at tanks. I'm not sure whether they used those in Vietnam, but I think in terms of giving a really good visual and impressive, I think Black Ops has really done really well at this regard. And
finally, Gerard, what do you know of the controversy? Because this is multi-platform; it's across PC, Xbox. Is it PlayStation 3 as well?
Yes, it is. Yes.
What do you know of the controversy? The PC people are a bit unhappy. They've been finding it very hard to run. Not because their machines are underpowered, just because it just won't run. What do you know about that? And has there been a lack of attention from the game makers towards PC?
I'm not sure. From what I understand, I've been playing on the Xbox 360, so there doesn't seem to be any problems with the Xbox 360 version. I've heard that there have been some problems with the PlayStation 3 version as well, and there's a patch coming up for that. But I understand for the PC version that the bulk of complaints seem to be coming from the multiplayer side of things.
Okay.
There seem to be issues with, I think, matchmaking or server problems, or people can't connect, or it's laggy, or this is not happening. So I think, but you're right. I've heard a lot of complaints that people have been saying, the PC experience, the multiplayer experience seems to be broken. Doesn't seem to be working for PC gamers, and I think that's a shame for PC gamers because. Part of me wonders whether, a lot of manufacturers are now thinking, well, PC gaming is dying, it's dying, more people are buying consoles, which I don't think is the case because there's still some really great PC gamers around, but I think consoles are being pushed as the gaming platform, so I think a lot of developers are focusing on console development first, and then thinking, we better do a PC version just to please the PC people.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if you looked at the overall worldwide figures, for Black Ops sales, you'd probably find your PC probably would, and I might be taking a liberty here, but I'd say it'd probably be a smaller percentage buying PC version than those buying PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. So from what I understand, I think Treyarch are, they're getting a lot of heat over this. So I understand that they're working on a patch, or they have already released a patch for PC gamers. So I hope for our PC brethren out there that it's going to be a better experience for them.
Yeah.
Because of course, with a game like Black Ops and also Call of Duty games, the multiplayer is where it's going to have its legs. It's it's where it's going to keep its longevity. And if that's broken for a percentage of that market, then it's not going to be good times for the developer at all.
Some unhappy gamers. Well, thanks Thanks very much for looking at Call of Duty Black Ops for us. Of course, people can also see your write-up as well up at stuff.co.nz, the Game Junkie blog, and twitter.com/GameJunkieNZ. We'll see you next week.
Indeed. See you.
Time now on Kiwi is 27 minutes past 9.